So that's not very big. That's very compressed. So when we first discovered neutron stars, to see that level of compression of a massive object, like a massive star, compressing down to the level of an object whose radius is the size of New York, was really startling and remarkable, but also rather encouraging in some ways, because it pointed to the fact that such extreme collapse and compression is indeed a thing. And if something can compress and collapse to the extreme level of a neutron star with a 10-mile radius, going from so big of a star to something like 10-mile radius is nothing compared to how big that star was. Even our sun, just imagine how big it is compared to 10-mile radius, right? Even our Earth compared to 10-mile radius is extremely big. So it comes from an extreme level of gravitational collapse where it goes down to that level of compression. And so the end state of those bigger, more massive stars when they collapse is the neutron star. And generally those stars will have core collapse. Supernova is the way they would explode and die. And those generally will have an iron core in their belly. Okay? So it's important to study all of this, and we have definitely covered this topic as well in the past in more detail in our past live streams. A lot of people spend their whole careers talking about, or well, studying and then talking about supernovae. So if you're interested in that, for sure, we've covered that as well in some detail. So that's the situation with the more massive stars, more massive than the 1.5 solar masses stars, okay? Quite a bit more massive, probably like 5 solar mass, 10 solar mass, these stars. The exact ranges are things we've mentioned in the previous lives, and I would look them up to get the exact masses that you have to be in order to make these end states. The next thing is black holes. So black holes were predicted in theory as an even more extreme gravitational collapse of a star to make a black hole. So when a star, even more massive star, with an even more spectacular death or a collapse under its own gravitation, when it collapses, it may just collapse down to a black hole. This was already predicted by general relativity and people who studied these types of things. Sometimes when people studied these types of things and they found this to be a mathematical outcome, they didn't really believe in that. They called this point star, dark star, black hole. You know, black hole, why? Because it's an object from which even light cannot escape. Its gravitational field is very strong. But even though people kind of knew about them mathematically, that does not mean that they liked them, okay? You can know about something and predict it mathematically and still be sort of against it. Can we get 10 likes? So let me get that mop. Where's that mop? So that was the issue, is that people kind of sort of really did not like the fact that the mathematical prediction allowed for black holes to be a thing. Einstein didn't like it. I think there was this guy, I believe it was Eddington, who also did not like it. Chandrasekhar tried to work on them, but I think he was stomped down on, and so he did not continue working on black holes. But he did contribute, of course, to the Chandrasekhar limit, as we know, with white dwarfs. So I'm saying these words